My phone slipped right out of my hand and hit the floor with a thud that echoed in my quiet kitchen. The screen didn't crack, thank God, and it was still glowing with that picture. My Hope, my baby girl, in a white wedding dress, smiling like the sun itself, arm in arm with that man, Devin Hayes. I barely know him. Next to him were his folks, Franklin and Eleanor, looking all polished and proud. The caption on that Facebook post read, "Our perfect day. Family complete. Family complete. Without me. I'm Clara Mae Harrison, 67 years old, and for all them years I thought family was everything. I raised Hope alone after my Elijah passed when she was just 3. Heart attack took him. Left me with a toddler and a pile of bills. I cleaned houses. Rodwell's in Buckhead, Miller's in Sandy Springs, scrubbing floors, polishing silver, whatever it took to put food on the table and send Hope to college. I saved every dollar I could, dreaming of the day I'd see her walk down the aisle, me right there, holding her hand, watching her live out the biggest dream a woman can have. But last Tuesday, sitting at my kitchen table with my morning coffee, scrolling through Facebook, I saw that picture, and my whole world turned upside down. Hope was radiant, smiling in a way I ain't seen in years. Devin looked sharp in his suit, and his parents were there, beaming like they'd won something. But me, I wasn't in that picture. No call, no text, no invitation. I found out my only child got married the same way a stranger would, on the internet. My heart broke in a way it didn't even when Elijah died. That mug shook in my hand, coffee spilling a little, and I realized something awful. To Hope, I might just be a memory. Something from her past she don't need no more. I called her 3 times that day. Voicemail, everyone. I sent texts, playing dumb like I ain't seen the post, asking if she's okay, if she needs anything. No answer till late afternoon. "I'm fine, Mama, we'll talk later," she said, her voice all breezy like she was brushing off a neighbor. Later. As if her wedding was some small thing to chat about when she got around to it. That night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I felt it sink in. I'd spent my whole life being a mother to someone who don't need me no more. I remembered when Hope was 5, sick with pneumonia. I worked all day at the Rodwells, sewed all night for the Millers, barely slept for 15 days straight, driving her to doctors, buying medicine that cost more than my rent. When she got better, she hugged me tight and said, "Mama, when I grow up, I'm gonna get married, and you'll be the prettiest maid of honor ever." Them words lived in my heart for over 20 years. I thought about her sweet 16. I saved for 2 years, sold my mama's gold locket, worked extra shifts, skipped meals to afford that party. We rented the Magnolia Room in Midtown, got her a sparkly dress, hired a DJ. I cooked all the soul food myself. Mac and cheese, fried chicken, collard greens. Hope danced all night, laughing, telling everyone I was the best mama in the world. She said she'd never forget what I did for her. Everyone saw the love in every detail of that night. I thought about all the little sacrifices. Getting up at 5 to make her breakfast before school. Helping with homework when I barely understood it myself, 'cause I never finished high school. Staying up late waiting for her to come home safe from hanging out with friends. Taking collard greens and ham hocks to Auntie Dolores's every Sunday, so Hope could know her daddy's family. When she went to college for business, I worked even harder, cleaning weekdays, catering weekends, so she could study without worrying about money. My knees ached, my hands cracked from scrubbing, but I thought of her bright future, and it kept me going. But in college, she started changing. She didn't come home after classes no more. Study groups, projects, parties. She was always busy. When I asked about her day, she'd say, "It's fine, Mama," or "I'll tell you later." Later never came. Then she met Devin. Her eyes lit up talking about him, how smart he was, how his family was good people, how he had big plans. I was happy for her, but I felt a pinch in my chest, like I was losing something I couldn't name. Devin's world, his fancy family, his big ambitions, felt like a place I didn't fit. First time Devin came for dinner, I cooked my heart out. Baked mac and cheese, fried chicken, candied yams, cornbread, sweet tea. I wanted him to feel welcome. He was polite, but his eyes wandered over my little house like he was judging it. Hope was jittery, explaining things about our life like she had to apologize for it. "Your house is nice, Mrs. Harrison," Devin said when he left, but his tone said something else. Later, Hope told me I'd been too much, asking about his family, his job. "Mama, not everyone's like us, sharing their whole life right away." That was the first time I felt like a problem. After that, Devin's visits got rare. When he did come, talks were short, formal. Hope spent more time with him, less with me. Sunday dinner stopped. "Devin and I have plans," she'd say. "When she graduated college, I cried through the whole ceremony, so proud of her degree, her future." We celebrated at a fancy restaurant in Decatur with Devin's parents. Franklin and Eleanor Hayes talked about trips to Europe, Broadway shows. I tried to join in, but when I mentioned cleaning houses, the table went quiet. Hope changed the subject fast. That night, she said, "Mama, you're so friendly, but sometimes you say things that can be misinterpreted. They're refined people." Refined. That word cut deep. My love, my hard work. None of it was refined enough. Hope got a big job at a tech company. She and Devin rented a fancy apartment in Midtown. I was welcome, but only if I called first, like I was making an appointment. Visits got shorter. Once a week, then every 2, then once a month. When I was there, they talked about their jobs, their friends, their plans. They never asked about my life. It was like I was just Hope's mama, nothing else. Last Christmas, they spent it with Devin's family. "They have such beautiful traditions, Mama," Hope said when I asked about our usual Christmas Eve dinner. "Next year we'll host, okay?" But next year came and I wasn't invited. In February, Hope mentioned they were planning a wedding. "Something simple," she said, not looking me in the eye. I got excited, thinking of dresses, flowers, all the things we'd planned together. "How can I help, baby?" I asked. "We're still figuring it out," she said. And that was that. Months went by, and she dodged every question about the wedding. "We'll let you know, Mama," she'd say, her voice vague. I should have known something was wrong, but I trusted her. Then in June, she started canceling plans. Work, meetings, other things. The last time we talked before that awful Tuesday, I invited her for our usual breakfast. "Can't, Mama," she said. "Got a big meeting." That was our time, always had been, but she didn't even sound sorry. "How about Wednesday?" I asked. "I'll check my schedule," she said. She never called back. That Tuesday morning, I was sipping coffee, eating a pecan Danish, scrolling through Facebook to see my neighbor's grandkids when I saw it. Hope in that white dress, Devin in his suit, Franklin and Eleanor smiling behind him. The wedding was in a chapel in Decatur, simple but elegant, just like she'd said. But I wasn't there. The comments were full of congratulations. Friends, co-workers, cousins, but no one mentioned me. It was like I didn't exist in her life no more. I spent that day in a fog, checking my phone, hoping for a call, a text, anything. Nothing. Hope kept posting, honeymoon pictures from Cabo, smiling with Devin, thanking folks for their blessings. I wasn't in her story, not even a footnote. That night I lay awake, realizing she didn't just forget me. She chose to leave me out. My daughter, the girl I gave everything for, decided I didn't belong in her perfect day, but something else woke up in me that night. A spark of something I hadn't felt in years. Anger, yes, but also strength. I'd spent my life bending to Hope's needs, her schedule, her world. I'd shrunk myself to fit her life. No more. If I wasn't family to her, I'd have to find a way to be something to myself. The next few days were heavy. I kept cleaning houses, but my mind was on Hope. I saw her everywhere, in the photos on my walls, the recipes I cooked for her, the letters she wrote as a kid. I found them from when she was 18, going off to college. "Mama, you're my hero," it said. "I want to be a mother like you, putting family first. You'll always be the most important person in my life." I read it over and over, crying till my eyes hurt. What happened to that girl? When did I stop being important? I called my sister Rosa in Birmingham. She's always been blunt, no sugarcoating. "She got married without you?" she hollered. "That girl's lost her damn mind." I told her everything, from Hope's college days to the wedding post. Rosa listened, then got quiet. "Clara May, I told you years ago you gave that girl too much. You put her on a pedestal and now look, she thinks she can walk all over you." Her words stung, 'cause they were true. I'd spoiled Hope, always giving in, always putting her first. What do I do now? I asked, sobbin'. You live for you, Rosa said, firm as stone. She decided what place you got in her life. Now you decide what place she's got in yours. I sat with that for hours. Hope had made her choice. She'd built a life where I was an afterthought, a name to check off when it suited her. I'd been waiting for her to come back to me, to be the girl who hugged me and called me her hero. But that girl was gone. I had to stop waiting. Saturday morning, my phone rang. It was Hope, all cheerful. Mama, we're back from Cabo. It was amazing. Devin and I want to come by this afternoon. Tell you everything. Tell me everything. Like I was a friend she was catching up with, not her mother who'd been left out of her wedding. What time? I asked, my voice flat. Around 5. We got pictures and gifts for you. Gifts. Like souvenirs could fix this. All right, I'll be here, I said. I spent the day cleaning, making sweet tea, buying fresh pecan Danish, like I always did for Hope's visits. But as I mopped the floor, I kept asking myself why I was still trying so hard for someone who didn't try for me. At 5 sharp, they showed up. Hope looked like she'd stepped out of a magazine, tanned and glowing, wearing clothes I knew cost more than my monthly rent. Devin had that same polite but distant smile. Mama, Hope squealed, hugging me like nothing was wrong. I missed you. Look how Tani got. I hugged her back, smelling her fancy perfume, so different from the drugstore kind she used to wear. She wasn't my Hope no more. She was someone else's version of her, someone who didn't need me. Sit down, I said, pouring tea, offering Danish. Hope barely touched it, probably too refined for neighborhood sweets now. Tell me about the wedding, I said, sitting across from him. Hope glanced at Devin, then smiled. It was nice, Mama. Simple like we wanted. Just us and Devin's folks in a little chapel in Decatur. Just them. I swallowed hard. Why didn't you tell me? She sighed, like I was a kid who didn't get it. It happened so fast, Mama. You know how these things are. We didn't want a big fuss. A lie. Hope loved big parties. Her sweet 16, her graduation, all full of people and noise. But now she wanted simple, and simple didn't include me. Mama, that's why we're here, she went in, her voice all sugary. To celebrate with you. Look at these gifts. She pulled out a bag, some shells, a t-shirt saying I love Cabo, coconut candies, airport trinkets. Like an afterthought. Thank you, baby, I said, each gift feeling like a slap dressed up as kindness. We talked for 2 hours, about their honeymoon, fancy restaurants, boat rides. I nodded, smiled, asked questions, but inside I was breaking. They left with promises to visit again, to show me their apartment. I stood in my living room, surrounded by them cheap souvenirs, knowing I couldn't keep living like this. That night, I made a choice. If Hope could live without me in her big moments, I could live without her in mine. I wasn't gonna be the mama waiting for crumbs no more. Clara Mae Harrison was gonna start living for herself. Sunday morning, I woke up different. The heaviness in my chest was gone, replaced by something clear and cold, like a winter morning. I made strong coffee, sat at my kitchen table, and pulled out an old notebook where I used to write Hope's doctor appointments and school dates. Today it was for me. I wrote Clara Mae's New Life, August 12th, 2024. It felt strange seeing my name like that, but it felt right. First, I listed my resources. I ain't rich, but I ain't broke neither. I got savings from years of cleaning and sewing, a paid-off house that's worth more now than when I bought it, and a separate account I started when Hope was 18. I'd saved it for her wedding, dreaming of handing it to her for a house or a big day. Now that money was mine for my future. Next I wrote, find a new home. This house held too many memories. Hope's laughter, her tantrums, my late nights waiting. It needed a place that was mine, where I wasn't just waiting for her to call. My neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, always talked about her sister Gloria, living in a senior community in Decatur called Legacy at Peachtree. It's like living free, she'd say. I used to think them places were for folks with no family. Now I saw they were for folks who chose themselves. Last, I wrote, cut ties slow. I couldn't just vanish. That'd give Hope an excuse to call me dramatic. My leaving had to be quiet, dignified, final. I'd fade out like a song, leaving no room for her to say I was the problem. That morning, I put on my navy Sunday dress, but I didn't go to St. Jude's for Mass. I grabbed my purse, tucked my notebook inside, and headed out. First stop was the bank. Mr. Lawson, who's handled my accounts for years, looked surprised to see me on a Sunday. "Everything okay, Mrs. Harrison?" he asked. "Perfect," I said, smiling in a way I didn't expect. "I'm looking at some financial moves this week. Happy to help. Come by Monday and we'll go over everything." That small talk gave me a spark. For once, someone saw me as a woman making choices, not just an old lady needing help. From there, I took a bus to Decatur, to Legacy at Peachtree. The place was beautiful. Green gardens, clean walkways, a peace I hadn't felt in years. Patricia, the receptionist, greeted me like I was expected. "Here to see the place?" she asked, smiling warm. "Yes, ma'am. I want to know my options." She gave me a tour. Cozy apartments, a dining hall, a chapel, gardens where folks were chatting and laughing. One apartment caught my eye. Small, with a bedroom, a kitchenette, and a balcony facing the gardens. I could see myself there, sipping coffee, watching sunsets. Patricia talked about activities: yoga, knitting, dance classes, movie nights, trips to Savannah or Charleston. It sounded like a life, a real one, not just waiting around. "Are folks happy here?" I asked. "Most come here after tough times," she said. "Lost spouses, kids far away, or just wanting their own space. They start sad, but in a few months they're different, happier, alive. When was the last time I felt that?" "What's it take to move in?" I asked. She explained. Over 60, stable income, basic health check. The cost was high but doable with my savings. "If you bring papers this week, you could move in 2 weeks," she said. Standing on that balcony, looking at the gardens, I made my choice. "I'll take this one," I said, pointing to the apartment. "The one with the garden view." Patricia beamed. "Great choice. I'll get the paperwork ready." I went home feeling something new. Hope. Not for Hope, but for me. That night I organized my papers. Birth certificate, bank statements, ID. It was strange, planning a new life at 67. But every paper I sorted made me sure. Monday morning, I was at the bank when it opened. Mr. Lawson went over my accounts, impressed. "You've been disciplined, Mrs. Harrison. You got solid resources." He showed me investment options for steady income, things I never thought about because I was always saving for Hope. Now, I saw my money could work for me. Next, I visited Mr. Sanders, a lawyer Mrs. Rodriguez recommended years ago. I needed my assets in order and my will updated. "Any specific changes?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Half my assets go to charities for single working mothers. The other half to Hope, but only after she writes a letter explaining why she made certain choices about me. No apology needed, just honesty. You hold the letter, even if I'm gone." "That's thoughtful," he said, writing it down. "Gives her a chance to reflect without forcing anything." "Exactly," I said. "I ain't looking for revenge. I want her to know actions got consequences." That week I hired movers, sorted my belongings. I kept clothes, some photos, small things with real meaning. Hope sold stuff, trophies, books, clothes. I boxed up and put in a storage unit near her apartment. If she wanted them, she could get them. If not, that was her choice. Hope called twice that week, talking about her job, her apartment, dinners with Devon's folks. I listened, but I didn't share me plans. For the first time, I had secrets from her. "Everything okay, Mama?" she asked once. "You sound different." "All good, baby," I said. "Just organizing things." Friday, Patricia called. My application was approved. I could move Monday. That night, in my half-packed house, I felt excited, not sad. I was starting over, and it felt like freedom. Saturday, Hope called again. "Mama, we want to have you over for dinner tomorrow. Try out our new dining room." I'd waited months for that invite, but now it felt too late. "Sorry, baby," I said, calm as could be. "I got plans. Going to Lake Lanier with some new friends." "Friends who?" She sounded shocked, like I couldn't have a life without her. "Folks from my new community," I said. "Maybe another time." She went quiet, not used to me having plans. "Okay. We'll figure out another day," she said, but I could hear the confusion in her voice. Sunday, I went to Lake Lanier with folks from Legacy at Peachtree. We laughed, ate, talked about everything but kids or pasts. I met 3 women, Mercedes, Dolores, Alexander, who'd be my neighbors. For the first time in years, I felt like I belonged somewhere that wasn't Hope's world. Monday, the movers came. I walked through my house one last time, saying goodbye to Hope's old room. "Thank you for teaching me to let go," I whispered. As the truck pulled away toward Decatur, I sat in the passenger seat, smiling. I didn't know what was coming, but it was mine. My first week at Legacy at Peachtree was like a dream. I woke up in my cozy apartment, made coffee, sat on my balcony watching the gardens. I met folks like me, Mercedes, a retired teacher, Dolores, who worked in government, Alexander, a widower who made furniture. They asked about my life, my stories, not just Hope. I was Clara May, not just somebody's mama. Wednesday, I tried knitting with Mrs. Rodriguez, who used to be a dressmaker. "You got a good hand, Clara," she said, checking my work. That small praise lit me up. Thursday, I danced at a ballroom class with Mr. Davis, laughing as I stumbled through cha-cha and waltz. "No judging here," he said, and I believed him. I laughed harder than I had in years. Friday night, Hope called. "Mama, where are you?" she said, her voice shaken. "I went to the house and it's empty. Neighbors said you moved." "What's going on?" "I'm good, baby," I said, calm. "I moved somewhere better for me. Better? Why didn't you tell me?" "'Cause it was my choice, and I don't need your approval." She went quiet, then asked, "Where are you?" "Legacy at Peachtree in Decatur, a place for folks my age. I got my own apartment, my own life." "A retirement home?" she said, like it was a dirty word. "No, a place where I'm happy," I said. "I got friends, activities, plans that don't revolve around waiting for you." "Mama, you're scaring me. Are you mad about something?" I took a breath. "I'm disappointed, Hope. You didn't include me in your wedding. You made a choice and I'm making mine. I ain't mad. I'm at peace." "Does that mean you don't love me?" Her voice broke, like the little girl I used to hold. "I love you, baby," I said, "but love's got boundaries. I won't let you disrespect me no more. If you want me in your life, it's gotta be mutual respect." "What's that look like?" she asked, like she really wanted to know. "I don't know yet," I said, "but it ain't like before." We hung up and I sat on my balcony looking at Decatur's lights. I felt sad but free. For the first time, I told Hope how I felt without protecting her feelings. I'd put my dignity first. Days passed and Hope didn't call. I didn't mind. I was busy, yoga, knitting, a trip to the Georgia Capitol. I ate soul food with my new friends, laughed at movie nights, danced on Thursdays. I was living, really living, for the first time in decades. One Sunday after chapel, Patricia stopped me. "You got visitors, Mrs. Harrison, a young couple." My heart skipped, but I wasn't scared. I found Hope and Devin in the lounge, looking out of place on the fancy sofas. Hope seemed nervous, not the confident woman I'd seen last. Devin looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Mama," Hope said, standing. "Thank you for seeing us, thank you." Like I was doing her a favor. "Sit," I said, taking a chair. "How you doing?" "We're fine," Hope said, her voice small. "We wanted to see where you're living, make sure you're okay." I looked around the lounge. Bright windows, green plants. "I'm more than okay," I said, smiling. "This place is perfect." "It looks nice," Devin said, then added, "Must be expensive." There it was. Worrying about my money, not me. "I can afford it," I said. "Turns out I saved more than y'all knew," Hope frowned. "Mama, we don't want you running out of money." "Why would I?" I said. "I saved every dollar for you, for your emergencies, your future. But you don't need that now. You're independent, making your own choices, like getting married without me. So I'm using my money for my happiness." Hope's eyes dropped. Devin shifted. "What do you mean we don't need your help?" he asked, tense. "I mean you're adults," I said. "You don't need me saving for you. You made that clear." "Mama, are you angry?" Hope asked, her voice shaken. "Not angry," I said. Disappointed, sad, but at peace. "I know who I am now, beyond being your mama." "Does that mean you don't love me?" she asked, tears in her eyes. "I love you, Hope. But I love myself too. I won't let you treat me like I don't matter." "What can we do?" Devin asked, like he wanted a checklist. "There's nothing to fix," I said. "I'm living the life I deserve. If you want a relationship, it's gotta be respect. both ways. How do we know what you want? Hope asked. You know how to respect me, I said, looking at her. You did it when you were younger. You just gotta remember. They left, promising to call more, to do better. I didn't hold my breath. But as I sat in the lounge, I felt strong. I'd spoken my truth. I'd set boundaries. I wasn't waiting for Hope to fix things no more. 6 months later, I'm still here at Legacy at Peachtree, living a life I never dreamed of. I wake up to birds singing, water me plants, read books I never had time for. I go to chapel where folks know me's Clara May, not Hope's mama. Hope calls sometimes, leaving messages full of tears and apologies. I listen, but I don't always answer. Some hurts run too deep for words to fix. Last week, a lawyer brought me a letter from Hope, typed, no smudges, no heart. She explained why she left me out. Devin's folks wanted a small wedding. She didn't want to upset them, didn't want to complicate things. No, sorry, no understanding of my pain, just cold reasons. I read it 3 times, then tucked it away with old photos. Some things don't need an answer. I think about all the women like me, given everything for kids who see us as burdens later. I'd tell them it's never too late to choose yourself, to set boundaries, to know your worth. I ain't punishing Hope. I'm freeing myself. Last night, at community dinner, Mercedes asked if I miss Hope. I miss the daughter I thought I had, I said. But not the relationship we had. That was killing me. Today, I'm sitting on my balcony, smelling the bougainvillea I planted, listening to the garden fountain. I don't know if Hope and I will ever be close again, but I know I'm okay. I'm Clara May Harrison, 67, living for me. And that's the sweetest freedom I ever tasted.